Okay, Matthew. Right, so we're on part 5. So we're going to have to try and be a bit concise with these because we've got some of these from our good friends on Twitter. Next one, just from me. Are there any murky but legal ways of getting on that you would endorse?
Murky but legal. I mean, it's not murky though, but it's completely. It's like at the end of the day, before Bitcoin, people forget the wonderful, easy to use way to do anything was with cash. If you can find a betting shop that you don't take the piss out of, who'll go in, foster good relationships there, get on course, bet with readies. Like that's still like I say, there's nothing murky about using cash. Cash is without affiliate. It's not evil or good. It's just cash is just cash. So for me, but like in terms of, try and find opportunities where you can use cash would be, would be definitely, one word of advice.
Okay, now someone, I'm not going to give everybody's names because I haven't written them down, but what do you think Flutter's intentions for Betfair are?
So I think that when presented with Betfair, the original entity, it was making money, profitable company. I think that when they assessed what it would cost pound for pound to get an extra penny worth of, per pound out of Betfair, it came across unfavourably relative to what a pound spent in, Paddy Power would get you return-wise. So immediately it became sort of the ugly stepchild, so to speak, in the relationship in terms of investment. So if you can't find an easy way to spend money to make more money out of a product, the easier thing to do is to cut costs. So they did a lot of cost cutting within Betfair. So we saw the market reduction, obviously, so you need less people to maintain markets, put them up. We saw, the outsourcing, or not the outsourcing, but the movement of the development team or the tech teams out to Romania for Betfair. So they tried to basically squeeze more return out of the same thing through cost reduction. And they didn't get rid of it though. So they didn't close it, they kept it there. And I think no one wanted to, you've got something that has built up a large presence, it's the dominant force within its niche. And the moment you turn it off, someone else is making the money that you've been making. That's a bit annoying. And also you've got a situation whereby who knows when a part of the world is going to really take to exchanges and you've got an exchange product. So you can't ever turn it off because it may suddenly become really appealing. It may turn out that Africa becomes the next massive place for exchanges before you know. You just don't know. So in that situation, I think they have got it to the point where they're happy with the cost basis of it. They don't mind that it doesn't make fortunes. They don't mind the business model, but it's there ready and waiting to be deployed. If the US market, they haven't done anything in the US whatsoever. If the US market turns to really love exchanges, they've got something that they can ramp up. So I see it basically persisting and being there, held in reserve in case it's needed.
Okay, are Entain shares a good punt?
So when private jet, was stood down, there was a lot of furore over how awful Entain was and how they'd spent too much on their M&A and they were paid well over the odds. And to be honest, I still think to this day the Kenny Alexander strategy has proven so good that Flutter copy it, at the end of the day, or copied it. So the idea of buying into local heroes, say, people who've got a dominant position in the market and there is a barrier to entry, whether it's either through the banking system required in that country or whatever it may be, that's still a sound model. And the fact that people say they overpaid for companies like STS, the Polish bookmaker, I think that was very overblown in terms of, I think some of the things they bought were still good value even at the top end of the price range. So when the share price tanked, the Financial Times did this absolute hatchet job on the CEO. I was like, this seems to be makes no sense to me that price would depreciate this much. Now they've got this trend where a load of hyper aggressive sort of shareholders that sort of getting in and demanding places on the board, etc. Very wary sometimes of non-bookmaking people getting in and thinking that they know how to optimize a bookmaker. Invariably, there's a lot of cost cutting, and they want to make a quick turnaround, make something that looks good in shareholder announcements, this kind of stuff. Don't know. I'm less bullish on it than I was then. But I still think, and they may end up selling off stuff prematurely to sort of, if they sold off, an STS or something like that, having just bought it, they're obviously going to get their throat cut on the price, selling it at a discount, and I genuinely think that part of the business is something that would go on to prove to be a good buy. So yeah, probably a hold assessment at the moment rather than a buy assessment.
Are there any bookmaking shares at a good punt at the moment?
I mean, I think that I would want to be in there for the FanDuel listing, and it's weird because you have this phenomenon where it's quite often there's a early tank. So the FanDuel shares will be massively overbought initially when they list in the US, and then so that already happened. But I think FanDuel's probably got a little room to run, and DraftKings probably has a little room to run. But neither of them are attractive enough now that they've shown themselves to be such the dominant force in the US. Neither of them got enough upside for me to really get excited about them. So you probably want to, always bookmakers will look more garbage than they actually are on share prices. So you probably want to pick something that looks terrible, but in fact has got up. Go on, I'll say William Hill 888. Or it's now been called something else, hasn't it? I can't remember. It's got a rebranding. Anyway, But yeah, William Hill 888 is probably where I put my money if I was going to have a punt on a bookmaker now.
Okay, Nick, I will mention Craig Edwards because he's a previous interviewee of mine, ex-professional snooker player, and now he's, I suppose he's described as a tipster with snooker and golf. He's interested in Mustardbet, and their price is still influencing golf markets.
So, the best of my knowledge, IMG, who had all the live data rights to golf based on the major tours, not live, as far as I know, they came to Mustard to take what was then their B2B golf product, live golf product, and to be basically the sole distributor of it. My understanding is that they are the sole distributor of it. The people at Mustard are still very good at pricing up golf. That's not changed. And from what I understand, IMG have managed to sell the live golf product into a large number of bookmakers. How they utilize that, so which bookmakers will be posting whatever Mustard suggests straight onto their website, and which will just be providing that data feed to their traders to adjust, I've not actually put much effort into looking into. There's some bookmakers you'd suggest that if they took the feed, would just use it as a steer. Someone like 365 may be quite independent still with their pricing. Rhodesy at Sky Bet, if Sky Bet take it, or Flutter take it, then I expect he still trades live Sunday himself, but he may take a look at what the prices are being suggested. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see, but I would say first step is have a look at which bookmakers offer live golf. Find the ones which, find ones that basically have nearly identical prices. And then there's every chance that those people who take all the identical prices are probably just pumping out what Mustard sends them. And the ones that differ probably still have access to it. It's very hard to trade live golf now without the good data, and IMG definitely has all the best speed data-wise. You can tell this just by the number of people who post 365 leaderboard screenshots, which does use the IMG live data on a Sunday or whatever. It's definitely there. So it's hard to put up a competitive live golf product without IMG's data, and I'm pretty sure that when you get the IMG data, you probably with not much extra money, unless it's a rev share, don't know. But yeah, I would say you can definitely look to see the degree of influence it has by just looking at which bookmakers all post similar live golf odds.
I've just realised that one of the questions you said was a banger. It's going to be now, and we've got about 6 minutes left. So the difference in time it took for good gut instinct pen and paper gamblers to be replaced by Excel, and how much time the Excel people have left.
So, I love this question because I love the constant idea that the increase advancements in technology like automatically kills off their predecessors. The reality is that they just add scale. So the pen and pencil guy, he can still make money, but it's very hard for him to price up every single race quickly for a day's racing, without any use of even an Excel sheet. If he's doing it all pen and paper, so he has to focus. He wants to be successful. He has to hyper focus and then bet really big on what he hopes are big edges in a very limited number of outings. The Excel guy, he can maybe price up the whole day's racing in an hour, few copy and paste from different websites, whatever, put it in, and then he's now can be throwing up a lot of value bets. And the Python guy, whatever, well, he can code the getting the data, putting it into a database goes into something that prices it, sends it to bots that then bet it at websites, or Betfair API, whatever. So basically you get scale. And the more scale you have, basically, the more bets you can place. The more bets you can place, you can actually reduce the amount you stake to get the same return. You get slightly smoothed returns by placing millions of bets over small edges. So essentially, the scaling will actually make you psychologically happier because you'll be able to sort of smooth that all out rather than being the pen and paper guy who only bets big Saturday racing and suddenly has to make all his bank on a few meetings a year. So I'd say that the pen and paper guys get ground out more because it's such a psychological grind to have to bet really big on a small number of things. I think Shane, your previous interview, Shane, he talked about going through some big long down swings. So someone like him is he's pricing up as much as he can, but he is going to be capped inherently by the number of hours in the day. Whereas someone like the Woods Group or Jelco, whatever, one of the big horse racing syndicates, they have all the fair odds for every horse in the race, and then they can just scale it out. So I think will these people ever will one eradicate the previous one? No. But I definitely would advise people to make that transition across those, if only so that they can scale, and with scale becomes actually greater peace of mind.
Okay, second from last question. Why haven't eSports caught on in the UK?
Because eSports has never been a thing in the UK. I think it's betting. This will be Anthony Kamiskas' question. You look at the places where eSports betting has blown up massively. It's Asia, it's the CIS, so that's Russia, Ukraine area, and Latin America. I remember going as a kid, or as a teenager, to Peru, where I've got family, and the internet kiosks that were available in Lima had faster and better internet than they had in the UK at the time. And people were playing online games there, literally. This is 1999, whatever. They were playing, probably would have been like Quake or something like that. They literally were playing they had LAN parties, all the rest of it. So we just don't have that. We play like FIFA, Street Fighter 2 against each other. This is literally where the SIS product has come from, where you get two guys just playing in Milton Keynes against each other and creating like quick betting. Don't have that culture. Look at Denmark, Australis, massive CSGO team. Literally their betting shops, literally people going in and betting their local Danish esports team, with money, like just cash over the counter. You just don't get that in the UK. So no UK esports product was ever going to really succeed when there wasn't a strong esports culture in the UK. And all these other places also, like the CIS, Asia, whatever, they had much bigger skins betting. You'll have to Google what skins betting is. If you don't know, much bigger skins betting markets already. And so they would transition over to normal betting more readily than anyone in the UK.
Okay, and finally, Matthew, where do you see Anubis in 5 years' time? Where would you like to see it?
So 3 outcomes. I'm homeless under a bridge. Hopefully not. I have done some work with a client that is so happy with the work I've done. Who knows? Maybe they want to bring me on board and just sort of be an employee again. And maybe if we've got on that well, maybe that'll be the right thing for me. Who knows? And what I really hope is that I'll have been able to make a lot of people more profitable, educate a lot of people as best I can with my thoughts and ideas, and maybe even be in a situation to potentially joint invest or advise sort of new business ventures, or get involved with something and be a part owner in something, maybe even. That would be really nice to be able to sort of put my name behind something eventually. But I think in the meantime, still more to learn, and one of the best ways to learn is to teach others. So hopefully doing the consultancy, I'll meet more exciting people, help them out, they'll help me out, and hopefully the business will grow.
Excellent. Well, Matthew TRENHAILE, thank you very much.
Thank you.